Fighting Liberal, the Autobiography of George W. Norris. Acknowledgement. For quite a number of years, members of my family and hundreds of warm personal friends have urged me to write the story of my life. Various reasons have been given, most of which did not appeal to me. I could not see, and do not see now, just why people would be interested in the struggling and somewhat discouraging life that I have lived from boyhood. When I left the United States Senate, the urgency on the part of my friends was intensified greatly. Literally thousands of letters came from all parts of the country, a great many of which were written by people who had never seen or heard me. Their ideas regarding me had been formed from what they had read in the magazines and in the newspapers, and in the reports of the various legislative struggles through which I had passed in my 40 years' service in Congress. Most of these letters were from young people, in many cases just graduating from high schools. Many of them were from students and professors in various colleges and universities scattered from Maine to California and from the Canadian boundary to the Gulf of Mexico. The beautiful, appealing language of so many of the letters made a great impression upon me. The writers told of personal struggles, most of them for an education, in which the story of my life would give them encouragement and greater hope. I was moved strongly by the appeals from the multitude of young people striving so earnestly for an education under the handicap of poverty. Most of them were doing what I had done when young, alternatively attending classes while the money lasted, and teaching, perhaps, a while, until the funds were replenished, and returning to college until their education was completed. For 6 months after my retirement from the United States Senate, these letters continued to come. Every letter was written from the impulse of some struggling young man or young woman who was then seeking, under adverse circumstances, to better his or her condition, and the conditions of the community in which he or she lived. Although I was impressed deeply, and although I felt honored by the fact that the battles that I had fought were an inspiration to many aspiring young people, I still could not see that a book about myself would accomplish what these friends thought it would: give hope to others faced with similar struggles. While this struggle was going on in my heart, my old friend James E. Lawrence of Lincoln, Nebraska, whom I think one of the ablest editorial writers of the country, made several personal visits to my home in McCook, and with an eloquence far above the average possessed by mortal man, urged me to undertake the writing of my autobiography. He promised to help me, outlined what seemed to be a necessary work that it would undertake for the benefit of hundreds of thousands of my countrymen, who apparently were appealing to me for help and comfort in a period of great natural distress and confusion. I had not kept a diary of my early life, but under the urgent appeals of Mr. Lawrence, and with his assistance, I have undertaken to tell the story truthfully, however doubtful of its value. In a volume of this size, only a part of the many struggles of a rather long and eventful life could be given in detail. One of Mr. Lawrence's tasks in examining the manuscript that I prepared has been to elaborate upon some parts of the material and to eliminate others in order to create a balanced story within the necessary limits. I want to say here and now that in my humble judgment, Mr. Lawrence is entitled to unlimited credit for his work of research, editing, and rearranging the material in its present form. It is safe to say that without his assistance and his continual urging, the book never would have been written. The book is truthful to my own experience, and I have tried to make it interesting. Whether or not I have succeeded will be for readers to say. If it brings new hope to the generation now struggling on battlefields to preserve our country and to perpetuate the principles and the philosophy of government for which I fought throughout my public career, I shall be repaid fully for the effort. G. W. Norris, McCook, Nebraska, August 10th, 1944.